Yeah, first of all, I would put in place community groups so we can accurately represent where you're coming from, being the voice of the people and understanding the migrants. I don't agree with the current council because they're obviously elitists and they're supporting the rich at the top. We have got to be there for everyone. Freedom, justice, equality. I don't care how hard it is to meet your need. We have to come down to your level. All this talk of elitism, it does not work. We have to represent the people. I don't care what the current government is doing. If they're not representing you, the people, and walking a mile in your shoes, forget it. Thank you very much. Jack Heelan.
This lady had talked about Western Community Center, and I fully agree with her. We are having language classes. Come to my laughter club. We will break all the barriers, become one community, and there everybody takes a name and everybody else shouts, he is good, yeah! And that creates a positivity. So what I'm saying, we have in our center, and I'm very proud I'm associated with it for last 10 years. We have classes for English. We have all kinds of classes for life skills, computer skills, whatever you want to learn there. So please come, it's on 66 Hyde Avenue. Okay? Thank you.
I don't think it's much about actually getting people to understand New Zealand culture. I think the first move, especially as a kawanatanga government thinks, we actually have to understand the community first. There are so much diverse people in Hamilton. It should be a responsibility of people representing the community, which is council or our elected members, to upskill ourselves in the different cultures required in the language.
Let's have another question from.
Yeah, I have one question because I have two home. One is called Pakistan, second is New Zealand. So nowadays Pakistan is very badly affected from the climate change. Now 35 million people are underwater now. So what's the plan for the climate change? So not to be going to like Pakistan.
Kia ora. So I'm currently deputy of our environment committee and of our infrastructure committee, and one of the most important things we can do as a city to reduce emissions is to reduce transport emissions. So 64% of our emissions in Hamilton, Kirikiriroa, come from land transport, largely driving. So what we need to do, we've started work on an EV charging strategy to make it easier to charge electric vehicles, but we also have started work on a citywide biking plan so that people have real choices for getting around that are low carbon. And we are working with Regional Council on a more frequent bus network where it's actually convenient and easy to take a bus, but also cheaper. I think that we can look at how do we extend the at least half price fares. They've introduced the accessibility fares, so anyone with a transport disability, it's free for them to travel. But at the moment, the focus is on making it accessible in terms of frequency, but also looking after our environment too. And I don't have time to talk about the other side of it.
I might just start where Sarah left off. Absolutely reduce carbon emissions is one half of it. The other side of it is that we have good modelling in terms of we know how climate change will affect Hamilton in particular. So we know we will get hotter days. I don't personally think Hamilton needs to be any swampier or humid than it is, but unfortunately that's probably a likely outcome. We also know that it will have more extreme weather events. And so we're kind of lucky in some ways. We don't have a coastline. We're not going to deal with sea level rise in the way that lots of other places in New Zealand will. But we still need to think really seriously about our water infrastructure. If you get a little bit of rain, the streets around the lake flood like anything. And our river is such an important piece of our city, but also our water infrastructure. So we have to make sure that that is up to scratch so that we are diverting it away. And there's some really beautiful examples of that across our city. Don't know if you know what a swale is, but it's one of my favorite topics. It's basically in a way that also makes our city really beautiful. So both sides reduce emissions, but also future-proof our infrastructure, especially our water infrastructure.
That's it for that question. Because we actually have heaps.
Yes, we have a lot of
We
questions.
have a lot, so we're just
Can
gonna
you
limit
explain
it
the
to-
answer is sure?